Hey guys, it's Liz from blueandhazel.com and welcome to my homeschool channel. Today's video, I want to walk you through a really special free watercolor course. This was kind of our very first thing that we did as a family to learn how to watercolor together. I am not an artsy mom and this made me feel like a rock star, so I just wanted to share with you what it is and how you can access it and what it looked like to use this with my little kids, and yeah, just kind of how we started going from not knowing a thing about watercolor to being able to make these really precious keepsakes that I just love. So this particular one is a watercolor bird free course. It covers 12 birds. We didn't do them all, but we did some of them, and it has the option to turn it into a calendar if you want to. And then if you like this style, this is from Lily Thistle, then she also has a watercolor art school that we are part of, and I love that because there's just a lot of other watercolor tutorials on there. They're all video tutorials. You can press pause anytime you need. She explains color mixing. She explains, how to transfer the prints onto the watercolor paper, because you initially have to print out the outlines and then transfer those onto the watercolor paper. So I will explain start to finish what that looked like. And we were just in a phase of homeschooling where I'd had a new baby and I felt like I was just swimming as hard as I could to stay above water and do the necessary things to get the kids what they had to do, and I was not incorporating anything fun. And what I did was I ended up just putting aside all of our schoolwork for one day, and I said, we are only going to worry about watercoloring today. If I do this one thing, that's going to be the best day for our homeschool, nothing else expected. And so that was the way that I could just mentally get started. Otherwise I was like, oh, add it to this and then this and then this and then this. And I was like, oh, by the afternoon, that's the last thing I wanted to do was pull out watercolors and do one more thing. And so if you're there, I encourage you to just take one day and just push everything else to the back, or strip it down to its very minimum if you can't do that, and just enjoy watercoloring and learning how. You don't have to know how to do it at all. She walks you through everything. So you'll need watercolor, you'll need paintbrushes, and you'll need some watercolor paper. That's it. I've used both of these before. This one's from Target, this one's from Amazon, and I will link those if they still have them. I'll link them in the description for you. But any watercolor paper will do. This is not something that has to be high-end at all. Then I also had watercolor paints, and I bought this set for myself here. I love this set because it comes with a lot of colors, so less mixing for me. And it also came with this really cool card that was blank, and then we could go through and fill in what the actual colors were. So highly recommend this set. I like it because there's less mixing and more shades, I guess. I also got this other watercolor set for my kids to use. I wanted one that I didn't really care so much if it got just destroyed and mixed in together. And I will link both of these. These have really vibrant colors too, just a little bit less of them. So the very first thing that it has you do after you get the watercolor bird is print out basically the size that you want to watercolor it. So you can do tiny, or you can do the full page, you can do half page. So what we did once we printed out the picture of the bird is I had my kids tape that printed picture of the bird on the window. And then over the top of that picture, I had them put their watercolor paper. I'd cut them in half like this, and then they were taping this onto the window over top of the printer paper with the, say, bird, printout outline or whatever. So then what they would do is the sun would shine in through the window and you could see it behind this piece of paper here. And they would trace that when they were finished tracing around the edges of all of the lines on the printer paper. Then they had this paper here that looked just like the printer paper, but now on watercolor paper. And so this is what we are going to use for the tutorials. And that was also just a fun skill to learn how to transfer something on a window. So this one here was our very first one we did together. Now this was, I think, my daughters. This was my sons here. They look different. They picked different, shades of green, but they both did their best, and I'm so proud of them. Then Mama came along and did the same one. So we had 3 different versions of the same thing that we did together. Okay, next up we have this cute little blue bird here, and we didn't label it, so I forget which one it is. But just so precious to me. And no, it's not perfect. And if you have a perfectionist, you're gonna have to work with them on just doing their best. Okay, next up we had this cute little bird here. Okay, at this point, then my son was kind of over these, didn't really want to do anymore, and so my daughter and I did this one together, and she wanted to keep going, so let me show you a couple other just quick examples. Okay, so here we have squirrels, and I wanted to show you one way that you can incorporate littler kids. So my youngest, I believe he was in kindergarten at this point, he wanted to do this with us, and so instead of having him catch up and have to try to do the lines, he wasn't really good with his pencil yet, I just printed this out on regular printer paper. So you can see it's thinner, and you know, it's a keepsake, but not like, it's not gonna hold up as well as that watercolor paper, but he had a great time and he did so awesome. This is one way that you can incorporate littles without any extra work to you. Just print off the piece for the littles. Now, that particular one I think was from Nature's Art School, by the way. That's not on the free bird tutorial. Here's some other ones my daughter did and loved doing on the Nature's Art School. And then this one was one that she did last fall that was really fun. And so she really just copied this on the window onto the watercolor paper and then followed the tutorial. It was so simple and doable. And one of the first things they're gonna do is she's gonna show you every single color that they're gonna use, so you can kind of map out on your palette, like what colors do I have that I might need to use. You can pause and go back. We did that a bunch of times, and my rule was we're gonna go slow as the slowest person wants to go, no rush. And I highly recommend this course. It's just like a fun way to add in watercolor to your homeschool. If you're brand new, try the free version first, and if you really like her style, then you can go ahead and try out her paid courses that she has. She's runs a sale a few times a year. I highly recommend waiting for one of those because it's so worth it. Especially if you can snag one of those like lifetime memberships instead of yearly memberships. So worth the investment. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I hope that you will check the link in the description for this free bird watercolor tutorial course. Try it out and let me know if you have tried Lily Thistle, or I would love to hear any other art or watercolor courses that you've tried that you recommend. Let us know in the description if they're free or paid and how they work for your family. We'd love to try out something new as well. So take care and thanks for watching.